Welcome to another episode of the Reluctant Adult Podcast. My name is Paul, and I am joined, as always, by the man who bent his Wookiee, Bill.
Hi, everyone. All the way backwards. That's right.
Oh, that's too far. Poor guy. Last week, we talked about Mickey Mouse going into public domain. I referenced this TikTok creator who uses a Mickey Mouse puppet, and he does reaction videos, and he says vulgar things as Mickey Mouse. He took offense to what we said, so much so that he sent us a voice memo. Then he was also like, I'm not going to respond to your video, but then he did, like, a little bit later. He was so mad that he, like, couldn't help himself. We didn't say anything bad about him. We just said that Disney said knock it off, and he did, but then he brought it back, and he's saying that's not the case. I do feel bad because, you know, he's a fellow creator. I want to be friends with him, so I invited someone on the show to issue an apology, if you will, to the Mickey Mouse puppet guy. So Kermit the Frog.
Hi, Kermit.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here. Try to think, at least they remember me. That might not always be the case. The next generation might not give a flying f*** about you and your friends. Okay, well, I better go. Have your pets spayed or neutered, and watch Muppets Mayhem on Disney Plus before they take it down. Yay! All right, Kermit, thank you so much. I think now the air has been cleared. I think we're all on the same page. We can move forward. Maybe we can even collaborate if you'd like to have Mickey and Kermit. Oh, how about that dream team? Clearly know how to contact us, so we'll see how that goes. So last week we talked about Marvel's What If and how I'm sort of lukewarm to it. It just sort of annoys me. It's like, I'm just like annoyed that it exists. But somebody floated a rumor that Disney may be considering doing a what if version of Star Wars. As indifferent as I am to the Marvel version, that's how excited I am at the prospects of what if Star Wars.
It's been done in the old expanded universe. They did Star Wars Infinities, which was almost like what ifs. What if Darth Vader joined the light side?
Yeah, the white armor. We got that figure recently.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting, but at the same time, I'm like, what happens when someone says, well, I'd rather see a continuation of this?
Yes, I know. That's what I think is going to happen. If this is almost like Disney being like, well, what do you want?
Right.
Which one
so
do
what
you
is this?
like?
This is the canon trajectory we want it to go into.
It's like a yak face poll, except which episode got watched the most. Because, you know, they're going to do things like, what if 3PO had 2 red arms? Wow. Oh. So it's like, what if Yoda was tall?
What if Jar Jar Binks was the Sith Lord this whole time?
Yes. Well, very interesting that you bring that up, because another rumor, a leak from a Lego person who has a history of accurately providing news on Lego, says that there is a Lego Dark Side Millennium Falcon that includes Vader in a white outfit, a Jar Jar Binks, and some other characters, and then everybody's sort of connecting the dots, because Lego doesn't usually just do random bullshit. It's usually tied to media, so maybe this is a thing that's happening.
Oh, yeah, because they need to be building stuff well beforehand.
Yes, so it could be a thing. The Bad Batch is ending.
Yes, it is.
They need a cartoon in that spot. I'm just saying. Right. Think about it. Let's talk about the NECA Vault. We had our first NECA Vault opening day this past week.
Every Monday.
What did we have?
We had items from the Aliens franchise, Kenner-inspired Vasquez, the Kenner-inspired Scorpion Alien, and the Defiance Xenomorph.
So that's fine. They had the aliens. But the item that had everybody talking, Django Unchained. And these are like the Mego figures.
Correct.
Soft goods figures. These like were intended for retail, but then were pulled because it's
This is a notorious, like, announced, produced in a small amount, and then went up for pre-order, went up for order, and were pulled immediately due to insensitive content. This was still during Toys R Us days, so these would have wound up at Toys R Us. This would have put the adult collectors section at Toys R Us so far into the back room that we'd never be able to find it without asking. You'd have to ask, they'd have to put a curtain up. Can I go behind the curtain there?
Even crazier than that, NECA was charging $1,000 for the set of 6. That is not what they originally retailed for.
No, not even
that's
close.
safe to say. But because of everything surrounding them, the aftermarket, I'm seeing
absurd.
Like $500 per figure, $3,000 for the set.
Right.
If you wanted them, and if you wanted to flip them, you probably were okay with $1,000. You think of Beethoven, everybody watched that. It's about the big Saint Bernard. The dad is like, I don't want a big dog, da, da, da. He slobbers all over him. The plot to Beethoven is that there is this veterinarian who is developing a bullet. Beethoven's skull is the size of a human, and he wants to shoot him in the head with this fancy bullet. That is the plot to Beethoven.
That's the weirdest thing.
I don't remember that at all. It's crazy. Look it up on IMDb. It's real.
I'm gonna have to. I wonder which Beethoven this was.
The first one.
No, it wasn't the first one.
It was the first one.
Really?
That's how the series starts. It's wild. I know.
I thought they wanted to steal
you,
Beethoven to make puppies with him because he was such a good bred dog. I thought that was
want to shoot him in the head.
Jesus.
Well, it makes. I mean, doesn't that make you want to root for him more? Like, I really.
Yeah, you
hope
really
it
want
works
him to
out with
live.
Charles Grodin, like, come on, you gotta love this dog. You don't want him to get shot in the head with a special bullet. This is one of those weird toys where I kind of like it, but I'm also like, I don't know that I need it, but I probably will get it. The Ben Cooper costume kids from NECA. If you don't know the name Ben Cooper, you definitely know these costumes if you look at them. It's like the plastic mask that's just the half face, and then the shirt was like a plastic.
It's a plastic shirt with either decoration or like a poster or something stupid. Like it made no sense.
The logo
like
or the face of the character.
Yeah, it's the most embarrassing costume, but it was part of
all we had.
Someone's generation. Yeah, of course. So you'd have Batman's mask, you'd have Batman, and then you might have the logo, but you might have a picture of Batman and Robin on there.
Yeah, exactly. The nostalgia is very high on this because we remember it, and there are some good ones.
Right.
So this first set is like monsters.
You have the creature from the Black Lagoon, and you have a couple. I think you have Frankenstein as well.
Yeah.
In that very
mummy,
very
devil.
nice coloring.
They're about 6 inches tall because it's a kid. It's like.
It's a kid,
like,
so
they're the Migos scale, but it's a kid, so they're smaller. But there are no pictures of the heads without the mask on, so I wonder if there's a face. You'd have to think there's a face. Like, it's got to be removable, but maybe
generic.
Not.
They're all Macaulay Culkin. Did they do Kevin from Home Alone in the Migos style? They did the bandits.
Yes.
They did Marvin. It's Danny DeVito. Not Danny DeVito. What's wrong with Joe Pesci's character? Harry and Marv. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Watched it like 3 times in the last week.
Were Ghostbusters more expensive than Turtles back in the day?
That's a good question, too. I wasn't spending my money on them. It was my parents' money.
I feel like everything was $5.
No
Whether it was an X-Men, Ghostbuster, everything was $5.
Yeah. Everything was either $5, $4.99, maybe $4.49.
Right. 5 was like the max. But then, would it be jump up to 20? Like, what was the in-between? I feel like it was like we were at 20 for a long time.
Legends were $10 at one point. I think at some point we skirted around with like $12.99 as a price.
We're at 25 now, 25, 30.
Yeah. Seems...
like you think in the future toys will be like $1,000.
Right.
Your Marvel Legend.
Can you imagine?
I don't know, like, does the numbers ever go backwards? Like, it's just going to keep going up?
Or
just like stop.
Like at what point is the stop point? No, of course.
Toys don't make sense anymore.
What point are we at?
We've
Super 7
using
territory.
Money. Yeah, I know. And it's like, oh, Super 7 seems like a deal. Wow.
Sure.
The cast of Ghostbusters Firehouse. No. What's it called? Frozen Empire. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Whole lot of people in flight suits. Everybody gets a flight suit.
Everybody.
Most notably, Janine.
Finally.
Suiting up. We got one.
Looking dynamic. Yeah, like, what's she up to? It's about time, I would say.
She's even got the name patch.
She's been wearing a flight suit outside of the movies since the 80s.
Right. Real Ghostbusters, obviously. The toys. Yep. Did the toys have her? She had a toy, but was she in a flight suit in any of those sets?
Oh, yeah.
Not like a traditional one, though.
No. They got her, obviously, with the original Fright Features. And then the secondary Fright Features figure, like it was like the Extreme Fright Features. They had the series with the gadgets.
Oh,
They
yeah,
had
okay.
The backpack figures.
Yeah, where she's purple with a blue.
Right.
Okay,
But
so
no
yeah,
glow in
so
the
this
dark,
is-
so she didn't get an ecto-glow treatment.
She didn't. Somebody makes a bootleg of that though. Somebody
If I
makes
could ever
that.
get it, that'd be great. No.
So they just use this mold because this is her. Even has the straps for the proton pack, but this didn't come with a proton pack.
No.
Like we don't know what her like the wave of proton stream would look like. All right, Bill. Well, you know what we say. We don't want to grow up, but we already did. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.